Good evening. This is Jared Ledbetter with Fighter Solutions and the Dev Guys podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Node.js. Now, if you're not familiar with Node, Node is a command line tool that allows you to execute JavaScript. It's great for creating themes, building dynamic websites, and even executing some server side stuff as well. So today we're going to be going over very simple stuff, how to install Node, how to install NPM, which is a package manager, and then also how to install Hyper, which is a command line tool interface, command line interface tool that looks a lot better than the standard Node. So what we're going to do is we're here on the Node website, and we're going to start with just downloading and installing Node. It's very simple. Um, So here on the home page at nodejs.org, uh, you'll see here I'm on a Windows computer. Uh, right here, the current version says latest features. Now, all of the current features in the latest release, in the current release, are not necessarily going to be made available in this new release. So you want to look at the long-term support um, version for most cases. Um, it's typically based on preference. Long-term support just means that these things are probably not going to change. Whereas the latest features has it has other features that may or may not stay around. So you want to think about that before you actually click download and install buttons. So I'm just going to go with the long-term support version. So I'll click on that and it's downloading. You'll see that here on Chrome. All right, and it's done. So I will install Node. There we go. The setup wizard, it's pretty standard. Um, accept license agreement. You make sure you read those. I've read through them a few times, so I know what it says. Oh, here we go. Now, for the purpose of this, I have completely removed all three of these applications from my computer. Um, but it's quite possible NPM is still on my computer. So if that's the case, then we will just ignore it when we get there. Um, and I'll show you guys how to check to verify that Node and NPM are installed on your computer properly. It's very simple. Uh, what you can do is if you're on a Windows computer, you can open up the command line prompt, and we'll look at that in a second as soon as this node is finished installing. And then what we'll do is we'll check the version to make sure that the version that's currently installed is this version that we just downloaded. And that's very important to make sure that the versions, um, it's important to know what version you're on because different versions have different features. So that's very important. All right, so if you're on a Windows computer, scroll all the way down. You'll see right here Node.js is already installed, but we're going to go down to the Windows section. I believe it's in System. Yep. You're going to click on Command Prompt. It's going to open up this crazy looking box. All right. So what we're looking for is we're looking for the Node version to be the same as this, 10.15.1. So what we're going to do is we're just going to type in node space and then -v for version and then hit enter. And you'll see there version 10.15.1. So that lets you know that your installation was a success. Now, before we go on to the NPM, I'm going to check my computer. NPM and dash V. And yep, I still have NPM installed on my computer. So let's remove that. All right, and the npm command for that is npm uninstall. And as it loads, boom, perfect. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go find our node command prompt. So we'll close that and we'll come here to our Windows menu here. So we'll scroll down to the Node.js area, to that folder right here. All right, so right out the gate, you see Node.js, Node.js command prompt, Node.js documentation, website, and then finally uninstall. So if you click on Node.js, all right, this is your Node.js window. So let's try to do the same exact thing. Node, check our version. You see there it says node is not defined. Well, that's weird because we literally just installed it and checked it. Well, that's because we are not in the command prompt. So you're going to go to Node.js command prompt. And when you open that up, you'll see right here, oh, it looks like NPM is still installed. Outstanding. It says your environment has been set up for using Node.js with the version and NPM. Now at this point, if you don't have NPM set up, that's not a problem. What we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the NPM website, and then we're going to go over how to actually install it. All right, so here I am. I'm actually going to have to uninstall NPM, and I'll walk you guys through this. So I'll do NPM uninstall. NPM is the package name. So the way this works is software space code execute space package name space dash G for global. I'm going to remove it from everywhere. So that will take a second. Alrighty. There we go. So I finally got it to start uninstalling. NPM is being quite eccentric. Alright. So there we go. So I'll check the NPM version. And it's still there. Holy fuck. Well, I don't know what to do. So we'll just keep moving on, okay? So NPM's website is npmjs.com. All right. And when it comes up, if it should look like this as of February 22, 2019. So we're just going to type into the search packages npm, and the first one that comes up is the one we're looking for. And so type in or click on that. It's very very simple. So this package manager is key to executing effective code within Node. It's not a requirement, but excuse me, it's not a requirement, but it's very, very powerful. So right here on the right hand side, well, before you do that, you always want to look at open issues, which is currently 0. All right. And here's the pull requests, the license type, the current version. This is the home page for this package. All right, NPM has a lot of different packages. I'll show you one. Let's um, say yarn. Yarn's a package, right? So the yarn package is on GitHub, but the NPM package, which is hosted by NPM, is at the docs subdomain. All right. So to install NPM, you're going to use this command right here. All right. And that's really going to be very simple. So it's going to be npm space I space npm. So what this says is go to the npm website, use npm commands to install, that's what the I is for, package name npm. So you type that in, npm space I space npm, and you hit enter. Now, what mine is doing, because I already have npm installed, it's going to be reinstalling the same version, which it's actually been a few versions since I've used this, so I actually need to update to the latest version myself, but we'll get to that later. In a later video, we'll cover how to track your version changes and stuff like that. So I'm going to pause this. Well, there it goes. Starting to move now. Okay. So now you can see that this is moving. All of the files are being installed to the computer. And if you already have it on your computer, such as I have it now, it will be overwriting those files. It's best practice to uninstall it completely first, but it's being a pain in the butt today, so I'm not really going to worry about it because I'm still going to use NPM, and that's pretty much it. All right, so you see here that right under that line it says NPM warn. Right there, no description, no repository filled. Right here, NPM 6.8.0 updated one package, found 0 vulnerabilities. 0 vulnerabilities, that is a good thing. All right. So now that we have NPM installed, we'll be able to come to this website and pull in any other package that we need. For example, let's say we want to execute a task. So we'll be looking for grunt. There's also gulp is a good one. What's another one? There's so many. Uglify. Yep, Uglify. Anything that you can possibly imagine is probably already inside of an NPM package. All right. So whenever you start thinking about what do you need to do, so with Node, in order to get a live preview, you need to set up a local server. So we'll look for HTTP server right there. HTTP server, there's one. And you can go through all of these. Basically what we just did earlier when we looked at the NPM package, you're going to have to do that to determine which one of these are a viable option, because anybody can create an NPM package just like on GitHub or anything like that. So back to the command line prompt. So this is our Node.js command prompt. So let's close that. We don't need that anymore. Now here comes the fun part. All right. Hyper. The website is hyper.is. Okay. So Hyper is another command line interface, just like um, I actually haven't saved here, just like this node command prompt. Hyper is a command prompt, but Hyper is one that you can uh, fairly easily customize the look and feel of the terminal itself. All right, so we're going to start here with downloading the version that we need. You'll see here, these are all of the different options available. All right, so I'm going to download for Windows. It's going to download. And then once that is done downloading, I'm actually going to install it on my computer. And then we'll open it up and get to playing around. And it's pretty sweet. All right, it's almost done there. So I'll open up my, right there's where it's going to be. And it's done. And there it is. So I will open that up. And while we're waiting on this to open, see this little terminal icon there? That's how you know that's installing. It's a pretty cool feature to add to your installation package. So if you guys out there looking to create software to be installed executable files, you might want to come up with something like that because that's pretty sweet. All right, and here we go. So here is Hyper. Now, naturally, this blue box is not there, this border. That is actually something that I customized on my own. So first, you'll see here, this looks exactly the same. Let me close this garbage here. This looks exactly the same as the node prompt and as the Windows default prompt. So right there, all three of these are doing the exact same thing. And you'll see here, node version -v. It's there. Come over here, node -v. It's there. And here in Hyper, node -v. And it's there. Excuse me. Same thing goes for NPM. So we'll do NPM space -v. And it's there. Back over to the Node.js prompt, npm space -v, and enter, and it's there as well. And now on to Hyper, npm space -v. Boom, it's there. So with Hyper, you don't need these other two prompts for your work. And that is what I love about it, because this is something that you can customize a lot more user friendly. Not user friendly. It's a lot more visually appealing than the other options. All right. So starting on back here on the Hyper website, there's a couple of things we're going to look at. All right. Excuse me. The first one is plugins. All right. So plugins, if you're not familiar with plugins, they're an extension of functionality. Okay. So this one opens new tabs with the same directory. That's a pretty cool feature. This one here creates uh, multiple panes navigating, multiple pane navigation there. Um, This one here adds some pretty cool features. You see that animation there. All right. And this one here allows you to search the text that's in the terminal. It's actually got a search feature. Now, I like the sound of that. So let's go ahead and add that. Okay. Uh, so here, we're going to go to, where's it at? We're going to hit the hamburger menu, go to edit, and go to preferences. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to pull up my default text editor, and it's going to pull up this file. This file is called hyper.js, but there's a prefixed dot on this file, which makes it, it's basically a cornerstone file for this program. And right out the gate, you'll see that I'm using the Atom text editor. All right. All right. Now this is a JavaScript file, so keep that in mind. So here is where you can easily customize your, well, let's get rid of that. There we go. Now there's some, you can see the difference between the two files. With that black background, it wasn't really working. So here you can see some code and some comments. So these comments will actually direct you through whatever you need to do. The default font size for everything in Hyper is 12. I changed mine to 14. The font family, I don't have a problem with how that looks, so I leave it. Font weight is bold. I'm okay with that. Cursor color. Now you see that this thing is pink. Maybe you don't like pink. So what we'll do is we'll come here. We'll type in actually, let's go to W3 schools. There we go. Now W3 schools, which is the website is W3schools with an S.com. And so this is a pretty powerful tool to have. I don't actually use this as much as I used to, but there's still some pretty good tools that I'm looking for. So under, where we go, and I don't even know where it's at. Holy crap. There we go. So towards the bottom here, you'll see color picker. So if you click on that, it'll open up. I actually have this saved as a favorite, but I wanted you guys to be able to see what was happening here. So you'll notice here that there's an A at the end, whereas down here, there is no A. All right. That A is actually opacity. So if you're looking to add opacity into the cursor color, you can do that there. I actually, that's a pretty good red. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use these three colors here, 255, 0, and 0. And the reason that I'm using the RGB A is for that opacity. All right. If I just wanted the straight color, I could just use the HTML code. I could even type in the word red because that's the color name is red. It's pretty basic CSS type stuff here. So 50, 0, 0. And I will save that and keep on moving. All right. And you see right away that my cursor color has changed to red. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my border as well. So I'm going to copy this color here and I'm going to use it later. So you have to go through each one of these and read the comments to see what it is you want to change to customize for this. And it's pretty simple. So terminal cursor background and opacity. Right here, terminal text color. So let's go pick a crazy color. You know what? Let's do orange. Yeah, that'll work. So let's say we wanted our text to be orange. Oh, that didn't change anything. Why not? Terminal text color under block cursor. Well, actually, I don't want to change that. I want to change color of the text. There we go. Here we go. Boom. Text changes to orange, which is a crazy looking color, but hey, if that's the color scheme you're going for, then that's what you use. So next one after the color of the text is the terminal background color. And so this is currently set to black. And let's change it to gray. And save, and you can see it change right away. Well, that's pretty sweet. Let's change our text color to black. That's cool. Not really. Let's change it to dark gray with white text. That's hard to see. Change it back to black text. There we go. That's pretty cool. And let's change our border color to that same red. There we go. And let's see. Terminal selection color. What is that? I have no idea. Let's check it out. Let's change that to yellow. See what happens. It's pretty much, if you don't know what it is, change it and then change it back. Nothing happened. So I will just change this to the red color to be consistent. So this is your padding. You really don't need to change anything else around here, except for here at the bottom. So when this comes through, it looks like this. Down on line 140, the plugins. Now these are examples of plugins that you can use. Okay, so back on the plugins page, I want to use hyper search. Now this doesn't really tell you anything, and it's really hard to see this. So how do we know what to use? Well, what we can do is we can say NPM search hyper. And what will happen is This will search the NPM website for all instances of hyper. That's a lot more than what you're going to find here. And as soon as this is done, you'll know when this is finished here because each line is prefixed with your computer information there. There we go. And this is now finished. And you'll see the computer information. Oh, that's what that is. Is that a highlight color? Terminal selection. Yeah, that's a highlight. Let's change that to a blue. Just because. W3 schools color picker. Let's not have the same. Well, let's just do a white. That's simple enough. White. So now when I, good God. Well, let me go back. Now it's pink. Hey. Hey. Now, let's do this. Red at opacity 3. There we go. That's what we want. Okay. Anyway, so this hyper search that is here, you'll notice it's also in here. It is not in here. Why the fuck is it not in here? I have no idea. So what you're going to do is hit enter. Then between quotations, type in hyper search. Now, if that's the only plugin you want, if you want to do all 4 of them, here's your code name, these titles. Hyper-pane, hyper power, hyper search, hyper CWD. Those are the keywords to put in here. Now, this section is going to be pulled in from NPM. If you choose to download them to your computer, you can place them in this folder and put this same name in this one. And there you have it. So we'll save that. And now I will clear that. We'll do a quick search for the hyper again. And we'll do Control F. That's not the way it works. All right, so in the top here, the hamburger menu, if you click on that and hover down to edit, then you'll see find and toggle find bar, which is also Control Shift F. So Control Shift F, and you'll see the search bar there. So now I can search for, let's say, elements. And you'll see it highlights the text there, which is pretty nifty when you're trying to go back and debug stuff. So now that we have hyper ready to go, we'll be able to build something amazing. And that's what's the great thing about Hyper is. It's the same thing as using Node and any other command line tools, but it just looks a lot better. So Hyper homepage here, go to the themes page, and you will see 4 different themes. Let me go back. 4 different themes. Okay. The first one is Hyper Native. Next one is Verminal. The next one is Hyper Material Theme. And then Hyper Solarized Light. Now, of these, I might actually use this Verminal or this Hyper Material theme because I prefer the dark colors. Um, I prefer to code in the dark on dark stuff. So that's me. If you prefer to code on the lighter ones, there's this one and this one here. And then this one here says make Hyper adapt to the Mac OS user interface. So if you're using a Mac, you might want to use this one just to make it look like what's already natively installed in Mac. So for these themes, let's say this Hyper Material theme. Now, it says here Hyper space I space Hyper Material theme. So let's give that a go. All right, so that's exactly what we're going to type in here, that exact line. Okay, and we'll see what happens. So Hyper space I space Hyper dash material with an A dash theme and hit enter. And we'll see right there, Hyper Material themes installed successfully. Boom. And now we have the same exact theme. How cool is that? So let's say we wanted to check our node version. That's pretty sweet. So that's all that I have today on getting set up with Node, with NPM, and with Hyper. I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos to determine. I'm actually learning how this server side stuff works myself because I'm a front end web developer by trade. So this is an exciting time because I'm trying to use these tools for theming. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, just shoot us an email, find us on social media, anything like that, and we'll get questions answered and probably put them in a video, send them out to you guys. Well, that's all I have for today. Happy coding.